Bulacan, once a thriving land crisscrossed by rivers and roads, now faces an unprecedented transformation. With the construction of the new Manila International Airport, what once stood as vibrant communities and fish ponds is slowly being reclaimed. But as tides rise and roads submerge, questions about the project's future loom large. As we stand here in Bulacan, the signs of change are everywhere. The water, which once bordered this community, has now overtaken it. Houses that once stood tall are now submerged, surrounded by fish ponds that have become more of a threat than a resource. With every step we take, we inch closer to the new Manila International Airport reclamation project, a development that promises to reshape this region forever. This area, with its rich history and close-knit communities, is witnessing an unprecedented transformation. The people who have lived here for generations are now faced with the reality of rising waters and sinking lands. The construction of the new Manila International Airport is not just a massive infrastructure project. It's a catalyst for change that will redefine the landscape of Bulacan and the lives of those who call it home. The journey to this site is telling of the changes taking place. In past vlogs, I used to walk through these areas, navigating the waters that flooded the streets of Bulacan. The streets that were once bustling with activity are now eerily quiet, as the water has driven many residents to higher ground. Today, I take a different route, one that leads us towards Dejinto, Bulacan, passing near the National Capital Region's outskirts. As we enter Barangay Bambang, it's clear that the roads here, especially during high tide, are no longer as they were. Water has become a constant companion, creeping higher with each passing month, threatening to erase the land beneath our feet. This part of Bulacan is particularly vulnerable. Situated close to the river's edge, the land here seems to shrink with every tide. The surrounding fish ponds and rivers contribute to the area's susceptibility to flooding, turning what used to be dry roads into watery paths. Even on a sunny day, the water lingers, a reminder of the high tide that recently passed through. It's been a while since we last updated on this area, and during that time, the reclamation project appeared to have paused. Heavy equipment, such as bulldozers and excavators, that once populated the site, seem to have vanished, leaving the project in a state of uncertainty. The residents of Barangay Bambang are no strangers to the challenges brought by the ever-changing environment. For years, they've adapted to the rising waters, building makeshift walkways and relying on boats to navigate their submerged streets. But the construction of the airport has introduced new variables into their lives. The land reclamation, which involves filling in parts of the bay to create new land, has altered the natural flow of water in the area. This has resulted in more frequent and severe flooding, with water levels rising higher than ever before. The residents are left wondering how much more their land can take before it's completely underwater. As we cross the bridge near the new Manila International Airport site, the scale of the project becomes evident. Despite the pause in visible activity, the groundwork laid months ago is still there, stretching out into the distance. From this vantage point, the vastness of the reclamation effort is clear. The land, once part of the sea, is slowly being filled in, extending towards what will one day be a bustling airport. But as the land rises, so too do the concerns of the local population. Many are worried about the long-term effects of the project on the environment and their livelihoods. The fish ponds that surround the area, which have been a source of income for many families, are now at risk. The construction has disrupted the delicate balance of the ecosystem, and fish populations have started to dwindle, threatening the food security of the community. Returning to Bulacan after 3 months, I can't help but notice the changes. The fish ponds, filled with small fish like tilapia, are a stark contrast to the industrial work happening nearby. Just a short walk from here, we can see the reclamation site more closely. It's safer to fly the drone from this side, as it brings us about 500 meters closer to the project. But even from here, the questions remain. Has the project continued as planned, or has it been temporarily suspended? The local government and developers have been tight-lipped about the status of the project, fueling speculation and concern among the residents. Some believe that the project has been put on hold due to environmental issues, while others think that financial or political hurdles have slowed down the progress. Whatever the reason, the uncertainty is taking its toll on the community. Businesses that were once thriving are now struggling to survive, as the influx of workers and tourists that was promised has yet to materialize. The once bustling markets are now quiet, with fewer people venturing out due to the constant threat of flooding. Trying to get closer to the site reveals more challenges. The ground, once solid, is now wet and unstable, making it difficult to approach without getting soaked. I used to be able to walk to certain spots, but today, the water has claimed those paths. Even though the drone can still reach the reclamation area, it's clear that accessing it on foot is becoming increasingly difficult. The local residents I spoke with mentioned that they've had to alter their daily routines significantly. Simple tasks like going to the market or visiting neighbors have become arduous journeys, often requiring a boat or wading through knee-deep water. The once tight-knit community is now physically divided by the encroaching waters, making it harder for people to stay connected. Navigating through the houses surrounded by fish ponds, it's apparent how vulnerable this area is to flooding. The residents here live with the constant threat of rising waters, and with the airport project ongoing, those risks seem to be growing. Moving through the narrow alleys, I find a spot that offers a clearer view of the site, but the challenges of reaching it are evident. The path is muddy, and the waterlogged streets make it hard to navigate. As I continue, it becomes clear that the situation is worsening. The houses, which once stood on firm ground, are now at the mercy of the tides. The residents tell me how the water levels have risen over the years, making life here increasingly difficult. Even though some paths remain, they are few and far between, and getting through this area without getting wet is almost impossible. The community has had to become more resilient, finding ways to adapt to the ever-changing conditions. Some have raised their homes on stilts, while others have built makeshift bridges to connect their homes to higher ground. But these solutions are only temporary, and as the water continues to rise, it's becoming clear that more drastic measures may be needed. The reclamation project itself is massive, stretching far beyond what we can see from here. But as the drone flies overhead, it becomes clear that there's more happening on the other side, out of sight from where we stand. Heavy equipment might still be in use, but it's too far for us to see from this vantage point. The drone, small and vulnerable to the wind, struggles to maintain its position as it battles the strong gusts. The farthest it can go is about 1.5 kilometers from where we're standing, and even then, it's a challenge. As of August 18, 2024, this is the latest update from the new Manila International Airport site. There's little activity here, with no heavy equipment visible. It's quiet, almost too quiet, leaving us to wonder if the project has been temporarily halted. We'll have to wait for further updates to know for sure. In the meantime, we'll continue to monitor the situation. I plan to provide updates on the progress at this site. The future of Bulacan and the impact of the airport project on this community is still unfolding. The local government has assured the residents that they are working to address the flooding issue, but many remain skeptical. Some have even started to consider leaving the area altogether, fearing that the situation will only get worse. The new Manila International Airport is a project of national significance, but its impact on local communities cannot be ignored. The people of Bulacan are caught in a delicate balance between progress and preservation. As the airport project moves forward, it's essential that the voices of those who live here are heard. Their concerns, hopes, and fears must be taken into account to ensure that the project benefits everyone, not just a select few. The future of Bulacan is uncertain, but one thing is clear: change is coming. Whether that change will be for better or worse remains to be seen. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next update. God bless. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to turn on notifications for more updates. Thanks for watching.